All right, here we are back. Triple B movie reviews, two bearded sex symbols with a couple beers, talking about great B movies. How you doing, Dave?
Okay,
all right.
You're going to love this piece of blockbuster film work.
Blockbuster?
This is another Polonia film. It's Feeders 2.
Blockbuster?
Sleigh Bells. Yeah, Blockbuster. Blockbuster actually used bought a bunch of them.
There you go.
The original Feeders movie, that was one of the last ones we did, was actually came out right after Independence Day.
You phrase that, one of our most recent videos.
Yeah, well, it's been a while too.
Like 6 months ago.
So anyway, it came out right after Independence Day. Everybody was into the sci-fi, and so Blockbuster picked up Feeders and put it in their stores, and it was their number one shot on video film, rental wise.
Not to be confused with number one rental.
No, not to be confused with that. But so this was the sequel. So
the tagline for reference is "Close Encounters of the Worst Kind."
Yeah. I don't know who came up with that, but
well, I'm sure it's Mark.
It could very well been. Yeah,
I think that's how that works when your name's on the company.
It could be. Well, anyway, this is centered around Christmas. One main character and his wife and his children and dog, and the feeders land, and the fun begins. So, give me your impressions of this one.
Just gonna leave it at that. That's the only synopsis.
Yeah, I don't want to get into the detail really.
All right. Well, I guess we should start with, instead of just what was your positives?
What was my positives? Well,
what would make you? What would make somebody else want to watch the movie?
Well, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
It's a Polonia Brothers film.
That's right. And if you like the Polonia Brothers film, this is another one you're going to enjoy. This one. That is a positive. I mean, Mark was the number one character in this movie.
Yep.
And it tickles me.
The first one we've seen where he's the actual character.
Yeah. Usually they play
he plays the sheriff in Amityville.
He was one of the two main characters in Feeders. So
that's true.
But and then you got to understand these were very early movies for him.
Right, but the brother is like a co-actor in. I would say in this one, he's kind of the main character. Like, he's not splitting time. There's lots of people they're cutting time with, but in terms of like the actual, who the plot moves through, it's Polonia.
Yeah. The thing I found funny is, like with most sequels, you kind of have to forget what happened in the first movie.
There was a little retconning, yeah.
Because
there was a little bit of, hey, for us to make a second one, when the ending of the first one is everybody in the world dies.
Right.
You kind of have to rewrite the last chapter of the other.
And the man and his wife were both people who were killed in the first movie.
You said that, but I don't remember seeing the wife in the first movie.
Yep, she was that gal that they met the one girl at the filling station. She called the other one, and this is the one. So I believe. I mean.
I didn't research that far into it, but she didn't look familiar to me.
Yeah, I could tell. I recognize the double chin.
So many things that could go wrong with that.
But
anyways, so you're positive. You're hey, watch this film because Polonia.
Well, yeah, it's a Polonia film. You'll like it if you like that kind of thing. It's their traditional zero budget.
Yeah, I think they had to borrow money is what it
I think so, yes.
Like they people were thinking of paying them to not film the film.
They were thinking about bake sales to fund this, I think.
I'm telling you, searching through couch cushions, yeah.
Because they pretty much, have a couple of little monsters or three. Some of them weren't as well made as the ones in the first movie. And
no, but I did find it interesting that they showed both aliens. and they had them side by side. So you were like, initially I thought, okay, they had the one alien when they made Feeders 1, and then they didn't have it anymore, so they had to use something else, and they made a second alien.
It's possible.
But you see in several shots, like the end shot where the president, shows up, they're both side by side. A lot of the alien shots in the ship, they're side by side. It's the original alien with the one.
Well, I imagine after
very obviously
after
had
Blockbuster picked up their first movie.
Oh yeah,
they probably bronzed one of them things and have it sitting on the mantle. So
I enjoyed. I feel like with the Polonia film, it is right for drinking games. You ever did a drinking game when you were younger?
No, can't say that I have.
A lot of these.
But now I can say that I have.
Did you drink?
When I watch Polonia films, so it's the same effect.
I mean, the concept though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, where you every time something happens, you take a swig.
Uh-huh.
I feel like in a Polonia film, there are things in the plot. Like, for example, these aliens are down on the Earth, and they're not talking. They're grunting and making
gibbering.
Yeah. They are scared of like dogs. Like at one point the dog's barking at them, they go back down. But yet they can teleport, and they have a spaceship they're flying back and forth.
Yeah.
And you have
the interrupted sound.
Yeah. Which is another thing that
Now that was one of the best parts of the movie. When Santa got.
I have to admit that when that happened, I actually paused the movie and went, "Are we doing this? Is this happening?"
Yes, they did it.
So, and I will give them a definite. I think that's my big takeaway from this movie is that the first one was very clearly. I think you'd said when we reviewed last time, there was like a high school project or something they'd done, or right out of high school or something where they were doing it.
Yeah, and I never have gotten to see that movie. I've tried 2 or 3 times. No,
Feeders wasn't.
It was not the first movie. The first one was called Church of the Damned, and I can't track it down.
Either way, you could tell the first one they were trying to make like a legit movie, and this one is more of a, hey, the first one went well, and
let's add to it.
Obviously they had extra film from the first one because there are like 3 people that die randomly throughout the film that have no connection to the story. The pastor.
Yeah.
He's the aliens show up. He's in his house. And shame on him for having a big basement and his workshop's upstairs. I mean, what the hell is that?
And he's got this big hole, mysterious hole in the basement wall.
Yeah, but he never leaves his house. He never calls or talks to anybody in the film. His whole role
is to be eaten.
Yeah, and he doesn't even really interact with the aliens. Like he comes downstairs, he steps into metallic, which I assume is alien poo. I mean, here again, we have aliens that are advanced enough to teleport, but they can't be in a corner.
Yeah, well, they're talking about aliens that will eat a cat.
Well, and that was another thing that I found interesting is they have recklessly killed animals through all these feeder films. Like I believe there was a cat or dog that died in Feeders, and both the dog and the cat died in
Feeders too.
Much like you, they must have more respect for the dog than the cat because the dog died and we don't see anything. The cat died and you see a splatter of blood with cat fur,
a little bit of fur there.
Yeah. So.
Now I did not mention in the beginning, and I should have, that this is centered around Christmas time. It's Christmas time.
And like the car, I'm guessing was his car at that time.
Probably.
But then you're back to disjointed, like the boss, berating him and being aggressive with him, but then nothing happens. Like I expected him to die.
Oh yeah, that was.
So
if they want to throw a little light fart humor in, that's cool.
Yeah, and another thing I thought was talking about the joy of watching a B movie and catching things that you're like, we probably in a regular movie wouldn't have done this. The boy was like what, 4?
Yeah, he was pretty small.
Did you notice when he put him to bed at the end before on Christmas Eve night and he goes out, or I think they're coming in actually, the poster on the back of his door?
No, I did not.
It was Jaws.
He was wrapping up.
It's stuff like that cracks me up, makes it worth definitely worth watching.
Well, To me, the high point was the Santa bit.
Yes.
Santa got run off the road, theoretically, by the aliens. They find him in the backyard. So one of the kids, that's Santa out there. Daddy, something's wrong. Daddy goes out to find this guy, helps him in. It is, in fact, the real Santa. But anyway, then Santa, seeing what happens, what's going on, pulls out a ray gun. The elves produced this, and he goes to kill
next
him.
year, yeah.
You
For
know.
1999, because it was made in 98. So it was that was the 99 Christmas line that was coming.
I see.
Yeah.
But anyway, overall, with all the little flaws and so on, it's still enjoyable and fun.
Yeah. Okay, so before we wrap up your favorite part of the film, of the video, what's your grade?
I'm gonna give this a 2.
A 2?
Because I thought it was enjoyable. Nothing fantastic about it, but I thought it was enjoyable.
I'm gonna give it a 2 as well, simply because it started out like a normal, just bad continuity. Oh my God, what the hell are we watching? And it morphed into Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And the fact
you don't always get
the
that.
fact, yeah, because the ending made it worthwhile. So brings us to the question of the day.
Oh hell.
Whatever is your favorite part.
It
So
is.
the question is, okay, so we've watched Sleigh Bells. There was a movie we were gonna watch that we were gonna review, but it was bad. It was a Christmas one. And back in the day we watched Bunny Man, which kind of had some implications of Easter, very veiled and thin Easter. But if you were to be trapped in a B horror movie set in a holiday, what holiday would you prefer?
Oh, that's tough.
I mean,
Well,
there's
you wouldn't
options.
want it to be Halloween.
We watched Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's
I don't
right.
think we've reviewed that one though.
No, thankfully.
Ginger Dead Man. We've you've got kind of a Christmas theme. There's an Uncle Sam one, I think, that's a 4th of July about a deranged vet that comes back and starts killing people.
This is terrible.
Silent Night, Deadly Night is of course another.
No, yeah. Oh.
And then you got the Leprechaun movies for Irish, for St. Patrick's Day. I don't know what would be your choice
Gee.
there.
I'm thinking maybe 4th of July.
Really?
Yeah. At least it's not snowing.
Oh man, that'd be a tough. I don't know. I'd go 4th of July. I'm
good.
missing a whole lot. I think I'd go Easter.
Okay.
Just because I'm a fan of Monty Python. The bunny with the teeth and the roar, and I think that would be entertaining.
Okay.
All right. So you got anything for him?
Yeah. By gosh, this evening, sit down, find your chair, find your beer, stroke your beard a little bit, and enjoy a B movie.
Even you ladies. All right.